Hello, guys. Welcome to Dead End of Don. We're here today to predict Mr. Predictable, Mr. Boring, Mr. I Pick My Favourites, Mr. Southgate, the man himself. We're going to predict the lineup that we think he's going to produce against Italy tomorrow night. We're going to go through a couple of formations, give you the reasoning, the personnel that he could use in each one, and we'll give you what we would personally do as well. So it's not just what he's going to do. What he's going to do is probably pretty straightforward. We're going to give you what we would do, which is a bit more interesting, bit of a change up to the formation, and something we can all have a bit of fun with. But we'll bang through a couple of comments, and then we'll run through a couple of formations, give you the personnel, give you the pros and cons, and give you our predictions. So, see what we've got on here. So, obviously, anyone that wants to put a comment in there, feel free to chuck it in. We'll read out any suggestions, stick them on there, and we'll agree or disagree at the end. So Graham the Don Jones, here we go. The Don couldn't join us today. He's got a work football game, so I think he's hoping to get a call up to Gareth's squad. So we'll see how that pans out for him. But he's gone Pickford for some reason. Arsenal fan, so he's obviously going for Ramsdale. Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Bellingham, Rice, Hendo, Foden, Saka, Kane. Basically the team he played at the World Cup. Which, yeah, if he's playing 4-4-2, 4-3-3, then, yeah, he probably will go with that team. But it depends. When he played at the World Cup, he had that inverted diamond, inverted triangle in midfield, didn't he? Where he had one sitting, two just above, and then three really high up. So if he's going to go for a flat 4-3-3 or one holding, it makes a difference to who he's going to play. Obviously, you might have seen by the thumbnail that I'm advocating for Maddison to play in here. So that formation wouldn't necessarily be able to get Maddison into the team. But again, it's horses for courses. Everyone's opinion counts. So what he's put there, so a bit obvious. Yeah, a bit obvious. So that's who he picks. Not my choice, of course. If I choose, Ben White would exactly be in the squad, starting centre back with Tomori, who for some strange reason isn't in the squad either. Yeah, that's a strange one. Ben White, obviously you're going to be a bit biased there, G, being an Arsenal fan. But I'd say with Ben White, something's clearly happened. Something hasn't really been declared. I think a lot of rumours been arguing with the coaching staff, etc., etc. But for whatever reason, he's either done something so bad he can't come back, or Gareth is holding a massive grudge. So however well he's going to play, I don't see him getting back in that squad anytime soon until we hear all the details, or we hear that some sort of truce has been arranged or agreed with him and Southgate, or Southgate gets sacked and he gets a fresh start under a new manager. But in regards to him starting centre back, the only issue I have with those is like when you get players that are playing right back for their club, and then they're going to go in and play centre back for their nation. I know it does happen, but again, it's a bit of a strange one. But agreed, he should, on form, he should be in the squad, if not starting, yeah. So, and what was the other one? Tomori, yeah, I don't know why he hasn't been picked. A lot of people have had their neck put out by this one. So, again, it just seems like he won't pick people that aren't playing in the Prem as well for some reason. Like, from all accounts, he's had quite a decent season over a decent couple of seasons, but I think he'll be pretty disappointed not to be in the team as well. And then, yeah, I knew you'd be saying this one. So, also, why is Mark Guy in the squad? He's been poor this season, and that's another thing, but I'm not going to defend him. Obviously, he's a Palace boy. Happy to see him do well, happy to see him get called up to the country, but we haven't been great this season. He's been picked in. Conor Gallagher's been put in. It's hardly played. Can even put an argument for Calvin Phillips. He's hardly touched the ball all season. Maguire doesn't play any football. They're all getting picked, where guys like Tomori, who are playing every minute for AC Milan, been left out in the wilderness. But yeah, it's a strange one, G, and only Gareth can answer those ones really. But if we're going to look at the game itself tonight, so bear in mind it's away in Italy. It's Gareth. He's Mr. Defensive. So the formations are going to be key on this one. So in the World Cup, as we did touch upon, he went for what was primarily a 4-3-3. So he had a flat four, one sitting in front, then two centre mids, then he had your two wingers and your striker up top. So if he goes with that formation again, it will be pretty similar to what Graham just said, where you'll have Rice, Hendo, Jude in the middle, Maguire and Stones at centre back, Kyle Walker at right back, Luke Shaw at left back, Foden on the left, Saka on the right, Kane up front, and that would be fine. But I think he only did that formation at the World Cup because of who was available to him. Didn't have Walker available for the whole World Cup. He only came in, was it for the France game? So I think if he'd had all his players at the start, he would have played the back three. He'd have played Reece James on the right, and then he'd have played Kyle Walker as the right centre back of the three. So again, it would have been a chance for him to get more of his boys on the pitch. But yeah, I think he's going to go ultra negative because it's away to Italy. I think he will not play that formation that we played in the World Cup. And with this 4-3-3, if he plays a flat 4-3-3, bit similar to the 4-3-3 that Arsenal and Liverpool line up on paper with. I think we're not the team. We haven't got the personnel to play that formation. So a bit like how Spurs play their one, but they'll play when they play like a 5-2-3 or whatever it is. They leave Harry Kane really isolated, and I fear that would happen in England as well. So I think playing either that World Cup formation that we just mentioned or a 3-4-3 would be the best option here, just to get more people in and around Harry Kane. But the problem with most of these formations is you're not going to get a proper number 10, which lies back to getting James Maddison on the ball and in the team. So my preferred formation would be something a bit different, but we will get onto that. So got the 4-3-3, which again I've said Liverpool and Arsenal use. If he goes with that formation, it will be pretty much the team Graham said in the comments there, which if we get up was this one here. So that would pretty much be the team. You could argue that he might play Jack Grealish out on the left instead of Foden because for some reason he flip-flops with Phil Foden. He doesn't commit to him, even though he should. If it's my choice, I'll be playing Phil Foden out there, but this is Gareth. If he goes to Jack Grealish, I can understand why. I don't have too many complaints, but my preference would be for Foden. And if Foden's not playing there, to play a formation where he can play as number 10 in behind Harry Kane, which, again, he doesn't do too often. So the other formation he could play is a 4-3-3, similar 3-4-3, similar to the way Chelsea line up. So it looks like a 5-2-3 when you look at it on paper. So you'll have three centre backs, you have a left and right wing back that sort of double up as midfielders, two centre mids, and then three up top. I think that would work to a degree here, and I think that's what Gareth will go with. So I think if he does that formation, he will play Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, I get the reason why people are saying Ramsdale, but Pickford, to my knowledge, he hasn't done anything to justify being dropped for his country anyway. And Gareth does seem quite loyal to his boys. So people that haven't let him down, like Maguire, been bad for their club, but they haven't let him down internationally, so he sticks with those guys. Because you've got to put it out there. Yes, he does pick favourites, but if Harry Kane had gone to Man City and Haaland also went to Man City, so same transfer window, and Harry Kane was the starter, and then all of a sudden Haaland took his place, would Harry Kane still start for England if he went to Man City and was second choice to Haaland? So he's not playing for his club, but he's your best player for England. I think he would still start. So you have to do that with goalies, you have to do that with every other player, you have to give everyone the same treatment. So yeah, I think he'll start with Pickford, even though people are calling for Ramsdale, mostly Arsenal fans, he'll start with Pickford. He'll go with a back three of Maguire, Stones and Walker, Walker being the right side of the three. He'll play Reece James on the right, which will be similar to what he does at Chelsea. He'll play Luke Shaw on the left. Although if he played Chilwell, I wouldn't have a problem with that because For me, Chilwell and Luke Shaw are both really good left wing backs, and either or could play there. Maybe with Chilwell because that's what they do in club level. But yeah, either or for me. And then he'll play with two in the middle, which would be Bellingham and Rice. Problem with that formation is you've got no number 10 really. You're pretty much going to have a 6 and 8 in the midfield. So one will be the sitter, one will be the box-to-box midfielder. So obviously Declan Rice will sit, Jude Bellingham will go box-to-box. But I do really want James Maddison in that team, but I can see why against Italy you'll go there just with that formation. Then up top, he'll have either Grealish or Foden on the left, Saka on the right, Kane up top. Again, I've just got a feeling he'll play Jack Grealish over Foden, even though most of the time you'll be looking for Foden. If it was me, it'd be Foden, but I think he'll put Jack Grealish up there today. So that would be, again, quite a safe squad to put out, and he's looking at not losing the game. Where the formation I'd be looking at, and those of you that are Football Manager fans, you'll know all about this one. So I'd be trying to play a 4-2-3-1 on this one. And the reason behind it, obviously, is to get James Maddison in his preferred position. So I don't think we need to play with a 3. I think we should back ourselves as defenders, so play as a 4. If you're going to go with Reece James and Luke Shaw, whichever one goes forward, make sure one of the middle guys sit back in with the centre-backs, and then one of the centre-backs go out just to fill in the void position. It's quite a simple drill. Do it in training all the time. It's just all about communication. As long as you both don't bomb up, you won't get overrun. But I think with protecting Maguire, that's why I think he'll go for the 3 centre-backs. But should go with this formation. Have 2 centre-backs, it'd probably be Maguire and Stones. I think, even though if it was me, I would play Reece James still. He'll go with Kyle Walker if he plays this formation. And then he'll go with Luke Shaw on the left. And then your 2 in the middle would be, again, Rice and Bellingham. Rice would be the sitter. Bellingham would be your box-to-box. And then sitting in front of those would be Maddison, where he could operate in that line between midfield and the back 4, like the opposition back 4. So he'd be in between our midfield and our striker, and he can work his magic there. If you look at the wing, you'd have, again, Saka and Grealish, or Saka and Foden, whichever way you want to work it. I think that would work. It would mean Kane wasn't isolated, because if we're attacking on the right, Grealish would come over on the far post, or Foden, whichever one was out there. Kane would come in, and there'd be Maddison there for any knockbacks. And you'd be able to link up with Maddison. If you're playing with the other formation, which is 4-3-3, and it's a flat 4-3-3, it's very isolated there. There's no one behind Kane. If the wingers get too wide, it's just Harry Kane in the middle, all on his own. 3 or 4 defenders to man mark him, and you're not going to score any goals that way. Yeah, so obviously anyone out there that thinks they've got any better suggestions, just pop it in the comment box and we'll go through them. But I think notable absences, I think other than injury, it was only really Tomori and Ben White. Only real notable absences, but Ben White, we sort of know there were underlying issues with that. But again, I can't see him playing anytime soon until something comes out. And again, does anyone think Ivan Toney will get a game in this one? Because he was obviously left out of the World Cup, probably because of what was happening at the time, that we found out later. But now he's been charged. He hasn't had the penalty yet, or hasn't had the hearing. So it's a bit of a strange one there. So he's obviously he's still carrying on with Brentford. He's carrying on with this, but again, with it only being weeks away from getting a judgment on that, it's a bit of a strange one that he's been called up to the squad as well. So left out the World Cup, but called up now when it's even closer to making a decision on it. So a bit of a strange one, but yeah. So I think obviously with Gareth and his favourites, we know who they are. So you've got your Hendersons, he's very loyal to. Maguire, he's very loyal to. Pickford, he will stay with Pickford until he makes a massive mistake or costs us a game. So it's not going to be too hard to predict this team, as Graham's very rightly put in the comments. But that will be, in a nutshell, what I think he will do is go for the... I've put 4-3-3, but it could be 5-2-3, depending on how you look at it. So the back line will be 3 centre-backs, a left wing-back, a right wing-back that double up as midfielders, 2 centre-mids, and 3 up top. Very similar to how Chelsea play. This is exactly how I think he's going to go. And just to run through the lineup again, I think it will be Pickford in goal, Maguire, Stones and Walker as the centre-backs, Shaw as the left wing-back, Reece James as the right wing-back, Bellingham and Rice in the middle, with Grealish, Kane and Saka up top, although he could play Foden on the left instead of Grealish. The reason he'll go for this, he gets both his boys, Bellingham and Rice, in there. He may change it if he wants Hendo to play as well. He might play that World Cup formation he did, where he has 1 sit-in and 2 just in front. But I think he won't risk having 4 at the back against Italy. He'll want to just keep everything tight. He'll take a 0-0 from this game. And then by playing the 3 centre-backs, he gets to put Kyle Walker in and Reece James. So if he could find a way to play 3 right-backs, he'd also put Kieran Trippier in there, which I do feel a bit bad for Kieran Trippier because he's been quite good this year for Newcastle. So if he played, he couldn't have too many complaints on. He's great with a dead ball. But yeah, and then up top, Saka, you can't have any complaints. Kane's going to 100% start. It's just Foden or Grealish on that left-hand side. As we said, that's the formation we think he's going to play. And then the formation I would play, 4-2-3-1. So it'd be Shaw and James as the wing-backs. You'd have Maguire and Stones in the middle. You'd have Bellingham and Rice in midfield. And then you'd have a 3-man or defensive midfield. You'd have a 3-man attacking midfield team of Grealish, Maddison and Saka. Again, you could have Foden on the left. And then Harry Kane up front. So that is the way I would go with that. We know that Gareth is going to pick his favourites, and it's going to be obvious. I wouldn't even be surprised if Calvin Phillips got some minutes in this one. But all the players that haven't played for the clubs, all the players that are in poor form, they'll all get minutes. All the players that are in form, either be sitting on the bench or, in Tomori's case, sat at home. But that is it in a nutshell for me. So thanks for guys in the comments earlier. Thanks for watching. We'll see how right this has been after tomorrow's game. Hopefully we get something from it, but I'm looking at it slightly pessimistic. I think we're going to go in this very boring, and Gareth Southgate's just going to take a 0-0 or 1-0 and create very small amount of chances for Harry Kane. It's going to be similar sort of tale where we're very frustrated with the national team, but get behind the boys nonetheless. Bit of patriotism, and we'll hopefully get some points. See you on the next one. Roll on to Ukraine. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.